Hello and welcome back to the TJB Shopping Network, where nothing is for sale, but we're living in the land of make-believe. And so I get to pretend I am a shopping channel host. Yay, Dancing Bear. Well, this is my favorite part of our broadcast day because tonight, right now, whatever this is, it's TJB Chris's Tandy time, because with computing, Tandy is clearly superior. There is no better value than a Tandy computer, so we're going to get right into TJB Chris's Tandy time with tonight's item, the Radio Shack TRS-80 Model 4, 64K, 2-disc model. The 64K Model 4 has everything you need to get all of your computing needs taken care of and take care of your leisure time as well. You need entertainment, you need something to help you be productive, the Model 4 is for you. All in an attractive, all-in-one case which contains everything you need to take it out of the box and start computing immediately. We're going to do the tech specs first, folks, and then get those out of the way. Why? Because the tech specs aren't really what sells the machine. I mean, they are, and they're very important to the machine's ethos and what it's going to be able to do for you and how it's going to solve your problems. But it's 1983. You don't even know if you want a computer. You just know your friend's got one over at the law office, and you want one too. You think you do. Or your friend's kid's got one, and now your kid's kicking down your door, right? Well, this is the machine for you. And for little Johnny, too. Z80 or Z80, A processor. The Z80A processor runs at up to 4 megahertz. That's 4 million cycles per second in the Model 4 mode. Software selectable to 2 million cycles or 2 megahertz. For compatibility with Model 1 and 3 software, we'll talk about that. 2, not 1, count them 2. Built-in 5¼ inch floppy drives, single-sided double density. That's a lot of jargon, TJB Chris. I don't even know what you're talking about. What does that mean for me? What it means for you is all those little floppy disky things you see on TV and in businesses and things, you get to use those too. Fast, random, accurate, reliable, dependable storage built right into the machine. 184K each. That's over almost 187,000 characters, letters of storage per drive. All to load data to and from the 64 kilobytes, that's 65,536 characters, letters of RAM built into the machine. You know that can store 32 pages of the novel you're writing all at the same time, assuming about 2,000 letters per page. Not bad, huh? This display, 12-inch monochromatic display. Monochromatic, what am I going to do with that? Well, you might be trading off color, but you don't need color for a machine like this. And not having color means you get a crisp, clear display, not possible on most color monitors from Micros of the early 80s. 80 columns across, that's 80 characters. 24 rows, that's the industry standard, folks. Other computers, TRS-80 Model 2, K-Pro 2, the Apple II with the 80-column card, or the language card. Same kind of display. Now, the IBM PC, they had to go 80 by 25 because this is Spinal Tap, and they had to go turn it to 11. Well, whatever, that 25th line can go stuff it. All the microcomputers that matter and all the ones that were the standard before IBM decided to come in and pee on our party, pee on our parade, use 80 by 24. And that's going to be an important feature later. We're going to come back to that. So just tuck that away in your little dome piece. We have a full travel, easy to use keyboard. I'll talk more about that later when we do a little close-up. We have additional expansion options. We have a plug-in port for 2 additional floppy drives for a total of almost 1 megabyte of online storage at a time. You even know how much that is? That's a ton of storage. Parallel printer port, drop down to your local Radio Shack, pick up a cable. Hell, you could even make one if you want, and run any standard Centronics printer, parallel printer with it. 50-pin expansion bus for hard disk storage or other additional hardware. A port to add a cassette recorder so that you can transfer programs from a TRS-80 Model 100 or run Model 1 and 3 software. Model 1 and 3 software. I thought this was a Model 4. It is. It's got a Model 3 mode, so it can run in a 64 by 16 display and utilize 48K of its memory, and it acts just like a Model 3 or a really zoomed out Model 1. You can run all Model 3 software that we could throw at it, disk, cassette, anything you type in from BASIC. If it's a level 2 BASIC program or a machine language program like a retail program that you buy, no problem. Model 1 cassette software, you're generally good to go. Now, Model 1 disk software is another matter, but that's not really a big deal. Who cares about that thing anyway? That thing's a dinosaur, right? It's 1983. Dinosaur. Model 3 software, you're thinking, TJB Chris, I just bought a Model 3 a couple of years ago. I've got software for it, I got discs, why run a Model 4? Why bother? Well, because you get additional functionality, additional features, additional memory, additional speed, additional power. And we'll come back to that. Again, back to the dome piece. Let's take a closer look at the Model 4, shall we? Let's really look and see why the Model 4 is the computer for you. Because really, who is the Model 4 for? Well, it's for busy managers, professionals, educators, and home users. If you have a use, we have a solution. The Model 4 has solutions for all of your computing needs, whether you are a professional, whether you teach other people, or whether you're just sitting at home or little Johnny wants a computer. Or maybe you want a computer and you're just using little Johnny as an excuse. You can go right ahead, go right for it. But let's take a closer look at that Model 4, shall we? Because I think once you see what it looks like, you're going to be salivating at the possibility, the prospect of the TRS-80 Model 4. And I'm just going to kind of take a quick pan by the table before we look really closely at this. We're going to show you what the Model 4 has in store for it. What I want you to see here is possibilities, folks. We've got hardware, we've got software, we've got books, we've got the Model 4 itself. We'll come back and take another look at that because you have to take a look at this baby. She's just a beaut. We've got well-bound manuals, binders, spiral ring binders, manuals. We've got sheets of graph paper for graphic creation. Get my hand out of the way so you can actually see. This is a shopping channel, folks. You're just going to see the back. You're going to see behind the house, right? But the back of the house. Floppy disks for your own storage and for commercial software. Cassettes for storage, and of course software is packaged on cassette. And we've got computing magazines, 80 Micro, the magazine for the TRS-80 for all models of the line, covers the Model 4 extensively, and you'll love it. And the Computer User, a great new upstart magazine. This is the premiere issue right here, but I think they've got a long future and stand to be with us for years to come. There's even books about the Model 4, folks. Books published about the Model 4. But let's take a closer look at the Model 4, shall we? I talked about the all-in-one case, the all-in-one unit. This is a take it out of the box and make it go system. You don't have to worry about mountains and snakes of cables going places, trying to tangle and untangle things, and bah, there's none of that here. Take it out of the box, put it on the desk, plug the cord in the wall, and you've got yourself a working, fully complete computing solution. Although she ain't light, she's still fairly easy to move, and you can take her with you wherever you need to go. The Model 4 is here for you. Now, you'll notice this nice off-white case if you're familiar with the other machines. Let's listen to this. You know what that is? That's the sound of a textured case, folks. Textured. Texture. Yeah, it's textured. And this is not paint. The case is molded white. You know what that means? If you've used any of the computers, the Model 1, the Model 3, that Battleship Gray, that Mercedes Silver, whatever you want to call it, the Model 3, you always find spots where the keys are used. I mean, you can tell who plays the games, right? They're right here and right here where the arrows are on that machine. Not here. No wrist marks on the Model 4, unless you don't wash your hands. And hey, I don't care as long as I don't have to touch your computer. And then maybe your grubby little hand grime will get on there, but you know, you can just wipe that clean, no problem. No paint coming off. Your Model 4 will look beautiful 35 years later, like this one does. Again, 2 floppy drives. Now, you notice this one doesn't actually have a floppy drive, does it? Nope, this is actually a floppy drive emulator because this isn't really 1983, and that means I can store my floppy disks on SD card, bridging the modern and legacy world, or should I say the modern and retro world. Legacy's better. This machine does leave a legacy, folks. Keyboard has clearly marked function keys in white with black text. And the typewriter keys, of course, black keys, white text, and 3 programmable function keys. And you've got all the keys you expect, folks. Break, clear, enter, shift, a caps lock key, including, in addition to, I should say, shift 0, and a control key. Cluster arrow keys, even a badge proudly proclaiming the amount of memory in your machine. Your friends will be wowed before they even turn the machine on, because I know I was. I'm just a shopping channel guy. I don't know anything about computers, obviously, so I just spout off whatever they tell me. And I can tell you, when I saw 64K of RAM in this beautiful badge, I thought, this is a top-of-the-line machine. Now, there are lower versions of this, folks. There's a 16K version with no drives, really for educational environments where you got one of these bad boys or more powering the show. And there's a single disc model, but if you're going to buy a Model 4, go whole hog. Get the thing. Don't be cheap. Get the one we're offering for the money. And let's take a look at some of the other things on this table a little more closely. Let's take a look at the expansion options and some of the software and other things available for the Model 4, because let's look right here where my remote is. We've got books, folks, and just like Tandy is used to, there's famous for, we've got books to train you on how to write basic programs. And just like Tandy computers are known for, you've got your computer cartoons. Easy to follow, written for someone who's just learning. If you've never used a computer before, or you want to learn how to program your computer to get the most out of it so that you can make it do what you want to do and not what someone else tells it to do, this book's for you. I mentioned cassette storage. The venerable, the one, the CCR81 cassette recorder, this time in Battleship Gray. This is molded plastic and not paint, so you don't have the paint problem. The computer cassette recorder is yours. Don't go to Sears and buy some Panasonic blah, because that doesn't have computer control that allows the computer to stop and start when you're in play and record, to load and save programs, but allows you to rewind and fast forward the tape without having to disconnect the computer. And this thing is specially designed with special circuitry to be perfectly correct in terms of the recording levels for your computer programs, ensuring the highest level of reliability with your cassettes. You want, if you want the cassette recorder, you want the CCR81, folks. Now, if you did cheap out and you bought your Model 4, maybe you got the one disc, maybe you got the no disc version, don't worry, Radio Shack's got you covered. We've got a serial port card right here. The Model 4 64K has a built-in serial port. This machine. Serial port lets you connect a telephone modem, a plotter, a serial printer, and all manner of hardware. You can even connect it to another computer, folks, for data transfer. And if you cheaped out and didn't get the floppy drives, well, you can come back and fix that wrong now. You can buy yourself a floppy controller. Have to have it installed at your local Radio Shack along with a serial card, but hey, no problem. Now there's new hardware for the Model 4 too. This new Print 80 right here connects to your printer port in place of a printer, and you can take digital copies of whatever you print. Works over Wi-Fi too. Then we've got disk software, folks. We've got Model 4 mode software. This is Target Planner Calc. Picture a paper ledger, folks. We call these spreadsheets. This is a program to calculate your numbers and refix all of your calculations on the fly if you make a change to anything else in there. One ledger of data, no liquid paper. That's a brand, but whatever, I already said it. No liquid paper, no whiteout, no nothing. This just automatically recalculates everything. PFS file for your filing needs. Take inventory, grandmother's wooden sex objects, whatever you like. You can categorize and plan them. Warranties, whatever you have, can be done with PFS file. Taking a look at the other side of our table here, we've already covered our Butte. I mentioned we have books here, things to do with your TRS-80 Model 4. Business programs for the TRS-80 Model 1 and 3. Covers the Model 4 because all those programs run here. Floppy disks to store your data, floppy disks for commercial software, blank cassettes, software on cassette, magazines I mentioned. Everything you need for the perfect computing experience is right here for you folks. But it turns out there's more. More, you say? Oh, wow, look at this. You're ordering. There is more. The Model 4 has one very important feature that sets it apart. We've already mentioned Model 1 and 3 software. The Model 4 runs thousands of programs already, but what if I said that was just a drop in the bucket? 3 simple letters, folks, will tell you what I'm talking about, and you'll see why the Model 4 is your computer, and why those of you who might have been pish-posh because you have a Model 3, throw that thing out the window. I've got 3 little letters for you folks. CPM. That's right. CPM. This runs Control Program Monitor, or later Control Program for Microcomputers. Digital Research's de facto standard operating system for Z80 microcomputers. That's why the Z80 matters, folks, because in the Model 4, it means you have a world of Z80 software at your fingertips. And I can see we're up to 1,300 ordered already. Get them while they're here, folks, because they're going. They're hot. 1,300. That's got to be a record for this far in. You guys are just lighting up. The operators can't even be standing by. They're jumping around trying to pick up all the phones. You probably got like 6 phones in the air, right? Because you people are just snapping them up. Don't be left out in the cold. You don't want to have envy because your friend got one a Model 4 and you didn't. Pick up the phone. Number's on your screen. Call now. CPM software, folks, will give you everything you need D-Base, WordStar, even the original Zork. Yeah, Radio Shack has a Model 3 mode Zork, but you can play an 80-column mode on the Model 4. And CP/M supports the Model 4's maximum memory, 128K, with a banked version of CP/M. But I think I've talked enough about the Model 4 in terms of selling it. I don't need to sell it. The Model 4 wants to sell itself to you. It wants you to want it. And I think there's no better way to show the Model 4 than to let the Model 4 speak for itself. So what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to come over here, and we're going to grab a chair here. And I'm going to show you why the Model 4 is the computer for you. I'm just going to fire this up here. And we are going to take a look at how the Model 4 works. And of course, I was looking at the SD card earlier, folks, so you'll see I don't have a disk in the drive, so it's asking for a diskette. I'm just going to pop this in here. I mentioned that 50-column expansion port. There's a hard disk built in, and the disk I just put in there allows you to boot from the hard disk. The Model 4 allows you... Well, folks, it's the shopping channel. And what we have here is a snafu. And the problem with live television is that I don't get to stop the camera. You're just going to have to do it. Sometimes things don't work, folks, and you know what you have to do when you do something like this? You have to plug the hard drive in. One of the things that the TRS-80 Model 4 supports is hard disks, folks, and I've got a modern one in the form of the Tris-IO here, which you can probably barely see. But this Tris-IO is a hard drive over Wi-Fi. Uses my Wi-Fi network and a network share to feed it disk images, so I don't have to do it if I don't want to. And I can boot multiple operating systems and have megabytes of storage online when I need it. So let's try this again, because, you know, this is how live TV works. We're going to power this bad boy back up, and we should get the diskette prompt again. And now we're going to put the disk in. This time, we have our boot menu. And by the way, I'm going to put this up so you can see my screen here. You're saying to yourself, TJB Chris, the Model 4 has a display connection on it for external displays? No, it doesn't. This one has been specially modified by the technical gurus here at the TJB Shopping Network, because now I'm all flustered because I broke it up, to export the video out so you could see what I see on the screen. Might be a little cut off when I'm in 80-column mode. You're just going to have to deal with it. Anyway, let's take a look at this. And I mentioned Model 1 and 3 software, so we're going to start there first. And we're going to go to Model 3 mode. This is LDOS. If you were using a hard disk, or honestly, if you're just using a Model 3, you want LDOS. It's Model 4 equivalent. LS-DOS is right for you if you're running Model 4 software. But the Model 4 has a little trick up its sleeve. Now, one thing I didn't mention before is the Model 4 does have a built-in sounder, but it doesn't really do much. It's a single beep. You know, it's like beep. It doesn't really, you're not, it's not a sound blaster, folks. It's down in the future, but either way. Let's take a look at the Model 4's graphics capabilities. What's that? Sound? That's right. The Model 4 supports sound through the cassette port, and I have captured that sound for you. A little fanfare here going. I'm going to let the demo run when we talk about this. One of the great things about the Model 3 is games. There are a lot of great games on it, and I know you said, oh, I bought this computer for productivity. I'm an educator. Games rot your brain. Well, no, they don't. Just wait until 2023 and see what the world looks like, and you'll reconsider. But I want you to think about, look how smooth all the ghosts are moving. Actually, you really get a lot on screen for something that looks very blocky graphics-wise, because this computer wasn't really designed for games up front, but it does have nice graphics mode. Everything's smooth, lots of responsiveness, and of course you can hear the sounds coming through as it's shooting the ghosts, and hopefully you can hear me over it. But this is a great game. This is 13 Ghosts. You just kind of have to shoot the ghosts out, and at the end you'll fight the big boss ghost. All your favorite Model 3 games. In fact, let's check out another Model 3 game real quick here. And let's check out one of my favorite games, Space Quest. I mentioned magazines, folks. There are also magazines on cassette, and this is from C-Load Magazine. And C-Load Magazine published this game. And I like this game. It does have simple sound effects, but it's just a fun game. And it's really just to get everything and kill these dudes. And I like to do little harebrained moves and get up under these guys while they're coming down, because I like to live dangerously. And actually, you know, we're not doing too bad here. Let's see if I can get past the first wave, and we'll move on to actually doing something useful with this. Hey, I did it. Attack wave bonus complete. 100 extra points. And we're back. Okay. You didn't come here to say the Model 4 be a Model 3 and play games. You came here to see it do something useful. Let's take a look at LS-DOS for the Model 4, right? We'll go there next. Plethora of software available. In fact, a Tandy staple is available for this machine, folks. We have Tandy DeskMate. Let's just give that a run. Tandy DeskMate is the great way to get started with your Model 4 out of the box with a group of applications. I had another word there. I lost it because, you know, whatever. With just a group of basic applications that you can use to get things done. There's a text editor. There is a worksheet, which is a calculator, whatever. Apparently, the TRS-80 Model 4 is the ideal desktop computer for anyone who needs to type shit. F3 key to back right out of here. We're going to go right back into Model 4 DeskMate. There's a filer, which, I mean, PFS file is way better. Same thing with the worksheet. Target Planner Calc is even better. And we have a telecommunications program for communicating with other machines. And I do not have that hooked up because I don't have a modem for this machine. But if I had a modem connected to the built-in serial port, we could go online like it's 1983. And of course, a calendar program, and you can send mail messages back and forth to each other. DeskMate is a great way to put your Model 4 to work with the lowest investment possible. And of course, there's Model 4 Basic available too, so you can run basic programs. Now, Model 4 Basic isn't compatible with Model 3 Basic, but it adds a lot of great additional features not found in Model 3 Basic, like while-when, option base, and a lot of great things. And it's 80 column, so you get the most use of your screen real estate. Not bad, right? And the LS-DOS operating system really gives you a lot of flexibility. Device independence, folks. You can route keyboard to the buzzer. You can route the display to the serial port if you like. You can do whatever you like. You can even filter characters to both at the same time. You can set it up so that whatever you type goes straight to the printer, whatever you like. Let's take another look at something even better about the Model 4. I mentioned those three little letters, CP/M. So let's take a look at CP/M, folks. CP/M is your operating system. You think you hate it now, but wait till you drive it, because CP/M has everything you need. And this is Montezuma CP/M. So I have a copy of BASIC loaded on here. Again, we're on a hard disk, so this is very easy to use. You don't hear a lot of floppy seeking or anything like that. Hard disk options here for this, whether it's one from Radio Shack, a Tris.io, a Fred, just any of the add-ons, just really expand the versatility of your Model 4 and make it super convenient and easy to use. I can just blast through computing tasks with ease. I can be like Fletcher, except without the Model 100, because we're not there yet. Microsoft Basic 80, of course. And let's say you want to do something real. We have DBase. DBase is the standard for databases in the 80s, and was for a long time. Has a nice online help system, folks, so you can get the most out of DBase. Comes with a very comprehensive manual, everything you need to know to get started with DBase. Examples, it even comes with example files to help you learn DBase. It may be command-based, but there is, in fact, a full-screen editing capability here where you can edit records and work with them in full screen, make it a little easier for you newer users. But I think once you get comfortable with the commands of DBase, it's so easy to use. I think you'll understand why. The Model 4 is running. And look, this is the Model 4 running. This is the same software as other big microcomputers. This same program runs on a TRS-80 Model 2, if you've got CP/M. And it runs on the K-Pro. Runs on all sorts of machines, because the Model 4 grows up from classroom and home and small business to professional big boy computer, CP/M. And of course, even CP/M isn't all work and no play. Oh, we've got WordStar on there, but you don't care about that. We've got Zork. And if you haven't played Zork, I'm sorry, it's Zork 1. Again, live show, folks, live show. Bear with me. And anybody who's watched this channel knows you give me a friggin' computer and a camera, typing is not a thing. I am west of house. I'm standing in an open field west of a white house with a boarded front door. There's a small mailbox there. Let's open the mailbox. Oh, there's a leaflet. Let's read the leaflet. We took it. Zork is a game of adventure, danger, and low cunning. As opposed to high cunning? You have to be careful with that word. In it, you will explore some of the most amazing territory ever seen by mortals. No computer should be without one. Now, folks, this is just a quick demo, but I think with everything I've run through with the Model 4, I think you'll agree that the Model 4 has everything you need. If you're an educator, you can network them together. You can do everything you want to make this thing just a complete joy for your students. Your students are going to want one. And again, it's hard to steal because it's all in one, bolted to the table, no problem. Yeah, they might walk off with the cassette recorders, but you guys probably don't have the Radio Shack recorders anyway because you're being cheap. So take a look at what's before you. You have an endless array of possibilities for the Model 4. And if you act now, call now, and for the low, low price of $1,999, all of this computing power can be yours. And if you act now, we'll throw in a CCR81 cassette recorder, absolutely free. Just pay additional shipping and handling of $35. Except you can't ship the Model 4. Can't ship it. Why the hell not? How am I supposed to get it? Local pickup, folks. Go down to your local Radio Shack or whoever has one. Go pick one up. You'll notice S&H says, it says don't. Shipping and handling, don't. Do not ship these. Shipping one means you hate them. Do not be cruel to Model 4s. Don't send them to die at the hands of some mindless carrier. Kicked off of a truck, dropped, forgotten. Don't do that. Can you imagine wasting all the pen? You've seen the potential of this machine, and you're going to drop it in the mail? No, you're not. Don't. Zip on down to your local Radio Shack or have TJB Shopping Network drop it off for you, because you're buying it from me, TJB. Of course, you're really not buying it from me, TJB, because this one's not for sale, it's mine. But hey, if I can sell you on one, go buy someone else's. Pretend you bought it from the TJB Shopping Network. Hell, pretend you called me up. Talk to yourself. Pick up your phone. Pick up the phone. Talk to yourself. Hi, TJB Chris. I love the computer you sold me, even though I bought it from Craigslist guy up the street. By the way, he robbed me while he was dropping it off, but the phone had a dial tone. The other thing about the Model 4, folks, is it's a Tandy computer. And the Tandy computer comes with, all joking aside, comes with the same sense of community that you'll find in other machines. I talked about on our last show, the Color Computer 3 community, podcasts. The king daddy of this one, TRS-80 Trash Talk. Check it out. It's a great podcast, great group of folks. And they cover a lot. There's also new publications, TRS 8-bit. And there's a lot of coverage on YouTube, like by dummies like me, and a lot of others. The Model 4 is a great machine. You really should consider getting one if you can get one without shipping it. Because here at the TJB Shopping Network, we love our Model 4s and we don't want to send them to die. Now you might be thinking to yourself, what else can I do with the Model 4 in the modern times? And I did mention there was additional hardware for the Model 4, and there is. There's hard drives. I have the Fred here. Actually, let's take a look at the Fred. And I'll show you, it's not actually a Fred. This is actually a Tris IO, and this is a circuit version that I don't really have in a case. So you'll get a good look at it here. And you can see my little behind the scenes. I got a copy of 0 hour here for the color computer, and I'm knocking stuff over. This is the Tris IO card. This was actually a retro store card, a Trisneck. But it's acting as a hard drive for the Model 4. And it just connects via Wi-Fi to my Synology out in the equipment rack. Gets its disk images off of it. And I just knocked my cards over here. There's the solder side of the cards if you want to see that. But I think when you look at what's available for the Model 4, and again, we have SD card floppy drives. Write the things on your laptop. I know it's 2023. You just pretend it's 1983, but write the cards on your laptop. Give yourself a break. keep a real floppy drive in there so you can make real media too, or when someone gives you some media, you can use it. That's the TRS-80 Model 4. I think when you get your hands on it, you won't want to put it down. So what do you think, folks? Is 64K going to be enough for you? You ready to upgrade from 48? You want those 3 magical letters, CPM? Yeah, you do. Thousands upon thousands of programs available at your fingertips at your local Radio Shack store or now in 2023 on the internet. Just for you. But only if you order now. That's 1555 no calls. Tell them TJB Chris sent you. And that's going to be our show this evening. I'd like to thank you for joining us on the TJB Shopping Network. Next time, I'm not sure what we're going to be doing yet, but I think you'll agree that whatever it is, it'll be awesome. It'll be a Tandy computer. And while I'm on it, on the subject, I have a bunch of Radio Shack stuff that's not Tandy related. If you'd like to see that, sorry, Tandy related. It's not computer related. All Radio Shack stuff is Tandy related. Duh. I have a bunch of Radio Shack stuff that is not computer related. Some I've had forever and some I've just kind of acquired over the years. If you'd like to see that, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Obviously, I'm not going to do however long this has been for, you know, a VCR or an alarm clock, but maybe we'll combine them together and do multiple items, or we'll just do some short ones. I also have a bunch of other machines in here that I haven't shown, and I have a bunch that you've seen on the channel before. If you'd like to see one of those in the shopping channel format, please let me know. And one thing I didn't mention, this is actually taken from, I mentioned QVC in the last video. This is my emulation of QVC. The graphics on screen that you see were what QVC looked like in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Right down to the timer and the quantity order, all that junk. So if you like this format, that's great. Last responses I got were great, but I really want to thank you for watching me. For all the comments on the last one, please give me some feedback on this one. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Let me know if you'd like to see the non-computer items. And if you'd like to see some non-Tandy computers, I've got a few of those floating around too. So until next time, I am TJB Chris, inviting you to stay classy and break out that Tandy computer, but for the love of God, don't ship it. Have a good night.